afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Danny, and this is the Beginners Online Trading webinar. Even though it's called like that, we're going to learn some essential things for advanced and intermediate traders as well. Now, before we will begin, I guess the people that has been in previous webinars, you know the drill. I would like us to make sure that the sound is in a proper level. So please use our question section to comment that the sound is okay for you and that the chart over here is visible. Okay, if you can comment that everything is okay, then I can proceed. Thank you, Tom Lean. John, very good. Okay, if more people can comment, I just want to make sure that everything is as it should be. I'm also going to check it on my end as well. Everything looks good. See people raising their hands. I hope that it means everything is okay and we can proceed. Okay, thank you, Nara. Perfect. Okay, so let's proceed. Actually, let's begin. I will explain what will happen in the webinar in every step, and then we can hit the road. So initially, we'll have a nice introduction to the company, the services, the website, and this nice platform, which is called the Web Trader, which has some nice, unique features on it, which I'm going to show you today. Maybe just on a nutshell. On the second part, we'll have more practical things. You see that if I'm going to click sell or buy, it's going to open here a nice sidebar with all kinds of information. We're going to understand what it means. Third part will be optional as analysis. Okay, we still don't know if we're going to have time for that, but hopefully we will. And yeah, so we can basically begin. Before we do that, it's important to know that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Apart from that, I wanted to also say that the webinar is recorded. This is a pretty common question that we get all the time. If we can see it again, how we can watch it again, how we can get the link and so on. And the answer is very simple. You just have to wait until it will be uploaded to our channel. Could be, hopefully it will be even today. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that the webinar is recorded as I mentioned just a minute ago, and then I'll be back and I'm all yours. Thank you very much. Okay, it seems like everything is aligned. I'm just gonna get myself somewhere to jot down the notes, and I suggest whoever wants to do the same to do the same. Like I said, I'm Danny, and this is the Beginners Online Trading webinar, the Trading Success Blueprint. Now, we're going to begin, like I said, with a quick introduction to the company. As many of you know, we exist since 2006. We have 9 licenses worldwide. Our customer service is right here at the bottom left. In case you need something, you can chat with us or through the WhatsApp. Or if you don't see this interface, which, like I said, is called the Web Trader, you can just contact cs@avatrade.com and they can fix it for you and respond to you and so on. That's for all customer service inquiries. Now, regarding trading inquiries, we have a senior account manager which you can attend with all your trading inquiries. And not only that, everything related to trading support can be provided by your senior account manager. A very common question is, how do you get a senior account manager? And the answer to that is simple as well. All you have to do is just to make a deposit, and when your account is verified and ready to go, you can have a senior account manager applied. Maybe sometimes even before that, that depends on the eligibility. Okay, and like I said, it can be very, very handy, and this service doesn't cost anything. Okay, so we're gonna, like I said, begin with a quick introduction. So that means we're also gonna mention the other platforms that we have beside the Web Trader. So the Web Trader is also known as, this is the desktop version, right? This is the Web Trader. So you can log in with your email and password. You're gonna see exactly that. Okay, I see people keep raising their hands. There is no need, guys. This is a live webinar. You have a lovely question section. Just shoot me the question and I will see it. There's no need to ask for permission or anything. Just do it freely. Okay, so like I said, the Web Trader here is the desktop version, but on the web, on the mobile, we also have it in the app, which is called AvaGo. Now, beside that, we have the regular, maybe the familiar, the common platforms, let's put it this way, which are MT4 and MT5. Okay, personally I use both. Okay, and there is no problem using MT4, MT5 and the web trader. And what I mean by that is I can open a position in here and it's gonna show on my MT4 account or on my MT5 account, okay, and vice versa. I can execute a position on MT4 or MT5 and I'm gonna see it down here, okay, on the web trader. Now, beside those are all CFDs, by the way, platforms, okay? They are all leveraged trading, okay? Beside that, we also have AvaOptions and AvaSocial. Okay, AvaOptions, no need to have too comprehensive explanation about that. So we're just gonna say that the app itself is quite remarkable, and I would advise anyone who is even thinking about trading options to try that. The main reason is it lets you see predictions in a very convenient way and to see what can be the potential outcome. And this way you can design prior your strategy and your next moves. AvaSocial is also remarkable app, especially for beginners. Not only for beginners, but for beginners as well. The reason is it lets you do two things. It lets you to follow or copy another trader. Follow means we'll get a message, right? I believe that this is a message or a notification. We'll get a message with your trader's positions, okay? And copy, we'll get a message plus it will execute the position by itself, okay? And execute the position automatically. Well, do we have place to see that? Let's see. Okay, now how is that any help? So let's suppose I still don't know exactly where I am and what I do and what to trade and how to trade and so on. So I can just hop on AvaSocial and I can see, okay, I have somebody I have my eye on and he looks like a very good trader, and I would like first maybe to follow him and see how he's doing. So that means I'm going to be notified with his positions, and it's up to me if I want to execute or not. Okay, or I can just keep in my sheets what's maybe to later on make my own strategy, or I can copy him, and that means that I'm going to be linked to him, and I basically don't need to do anything. I can adjust if I want the proportions between my account to his account, unless the balance is not computable. Okay, but I have to let you know in advance, if the balances are not the same, the results will not be the same. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Now, beside those two, AvaOptions and oh, but by the way, I almost forgot to ask, do we have any questions about anything that I said so far, about any of those platforms that I've mentioned? Any questions in general, to be frank, about anything that I said? Okay, there is a question, Ching, will we learn how to trade? Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. This is just the introduction, right? We're not speaking about anything to teach you to trade in this. This is just the introduction, the first part. We'll get there in a minute. Okay, so let me carry on with ease. What we're gonna do, like I said, we're just gonna follow some features. We're gonna show you some features on the web trader. Okay, and for that, we're gonna look at the left-hand side. I hope you see there are several icons here. At the in the middle, sort of, we have the signals. Let me begin there. So I don't understand anything, and that's completely fine, Mr. Promise. That's completely fine. You're not supposed to understand anything. This is what we're here for. And okay, but I'm sure you will. In a minute, as soon as we carry on, you're gonna see that things become much clearer. Okay, so like I said, on the left-hand side, we have this nice bar with several icons. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here on AvaTrade, Trade with Confidence to go back to my default screen, and I'm simply gonna scroll down by clicking on the two tiny arrows. Now we have all kind of lists here. We have categories here. Again, we're not fully aware of what it means or how to use it, and that's fine. Okay, now because we're not fully prepared as a beginners, we have here something that can help us. It's called signal. Okay, what exactly signals are? So if I'm gonna click here buy, my intention is that the value will increase. However, I don't know when to buy. I don't know how much to buy. I don't know what price to close the position. I don't know any of that. So the signal is providing me exactly with that. So that means, let me just show you, okay? This light, blue lightning icon here can lead me to the signal. If I click it, it's going to show me all of what I said. Okay, if I can buy here, what can be the advisable place to close the position with a profit or with a loss, and all of that. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you what it means in a moment. I'm just going to show you the difference of clicking the signal from the outside in here to the signal through the section itself. And the difference is that from here, I can see which asset I want and to see if it has a signal or not. And if I go back to the signal section itself, is lined by a linear time range order. So that means that I see the, just a second, that I see what's the recent ones, okay? And then I can go back to see what was older. Okay, now let's scroll down, okay? We're gonna find ourselves a nice thing to go with. You see that in here, it's already, why is it looking like that? Stop loss and take profit, it seems like it's blunt. The reason is the market has already reached a key level. Okay, no problem. So let's go with something else, Euro GBP as an example. Okay, and I'm gonna click in here to, again, I wanna to see what's going on here, and I can do it with the screen folded down. So I'm gonna click here on the arrows and I see. Now the validity here is daily, and obviously the time frame that we're looking at, it might be different. So we're gonna click and scroll down till we see 1 day for daily. Okay, and then we can see the levels. If we would like to confirm, it's not obligatory in any way. You can do it as part of your analysis. I would highly recommend that. Okay, I would highly recommend it. Not to go blindly with the signals without checking anything, because that's just not what I would personally do. Okay, you probably want to confirm certain things here, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, as you can see, we have here resistance level, resistance. I'm gonna simplify that for you guys because otherwise it will be impossible for me to explain to you how the signal is any help. So I'm just gonna explain to you on a nutshell what support and resistance means. Okay, this is the price. This is actually not a price. This is a difference between the pound and the euro, or maybe I should say the euro and the pound. So this is how many pounds I need for 1 euro. Okay, so the pound is stronger than the euro, right? As you can see, the euro is 0.85630 pounds. Okay, now how does that work exactly? The stronger the euro will get, the higher the pair will get, right? Because that means that it's going to close the gap between the euro and the pound. Right now, they're not equivalent, okay? I think there was a time when they were equivalent, but I can't be too sure. Let me see, just out of curiosity, right? Just a second, that wasn't here. Never mind. But the idea here is, in general, okay, is to, okay, if I'm looking at the price here, is that if the euro is getting stronger, that means it's going up. If the pound is getting stronger, it will go down. And if the euro is getting weaker and so on, I guess you understand what I'm explaining. Okay, and we can see here that the support and resistance are actually edge points above. Okay, the resistance will be above those lines as an example. As you can see, there are certain points. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. Again, this is why I'm showing you the signal for your convenience. Okay, certain pivot points, certain edge points. That's already passed, not relevant. Okay, and the support are actually the lines underneath. So we have edge points at the bottom and we have edge points at the top. And that's completely fine. As you can see, the signal has already showed us that right here. Okay, there are certain levels of support resistance. I'm not sure that those are the same as I've marked. Okay, but that's a similar idea. Now, how does that work and how does that any help? Because we said in the beginning, as a beginner, I'm not sure when to buy and when to close and how to do and what to do. So the signal does everything for me automatically, right? So let's suppose that I looked from the outside. I like Euro GBP. I'm going to click a view signal, and then I'm going to click on. I have two scenarios. I have the buy, which I believe that the euro will strengthen, or I think sell. Maybe the pound will strengthen or the euro will weakening against the pound. So let's suppose that I believe that the euro will weaken against the pound. The pound will go stronger. So it shows me, you see that, by the way, I don't know, maybe I've done it too fast. Okay. It did mark the take profit and the stop loss automatically. Okay, I'm going to show it to you again. I click here, sell. I already have the stop loss and the take profit predetermined. Okay, which now I'm going to show you. This in this R&R, in this risk reward ratio, I'm actually potentially gaining more than less than I can lose. Okay, so maybe this is not a ratio that I like. Maybe I want to adjust it. Okay, but let's try the buy scenario just to show you the differences. Okay, so in the buy scenario, it looks different. Now, if I'm buying, it seems like I can potentially make 50 and lose 25. Now, what exactly those take profit and stop loss are, how exactly they're helping us, okay? Because in the beginning, we said that as a beginner, I don't know when to buy or how to buy and when to close. This is where automatically my position will be closed with the profit if it reaches the price that I've asked. Now the signal did it by itself, so I don't need to be bothered when to close it. Okay, and I can simply do 3 clicks and execute the position. Okay, obviously I can adjust the lot size if I want. If I like this analysis and I think that this analysis is good, I can just increase or decrease the lot size as I want, and then it's going to show me that potential profit and loss will grow accordingly. Okay, I just want to show you one last time how brief that was, maybe with another asset. Let's go with maybe DAX. Let's go with the DAX, right? And we're gonna go with the sell scenario this time. Look, this is the second time I'm clicking on the signal, and already everything here is prepared. Yeah, no need to think too much. Again, this is not something I would rely on purely without doing at least another layer of analysis, but everybody can do what they want. Okay, and it's important to say that the signals are provided by the Trading Central. Okay, they're not made by AvaTrade. Trading Central in here. Okay, so guys, do we have any questions about what I've explained just now? Any questions about the signals or anything that I said so far? Okay, we have a question from Kim about support and resistance. Okay, look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to teach you analysis right now. There is no point. I mean, I will explain about support and resistance maybe later on if we'll have time for that, but it's not the purpose of the webinar. But okay, no problem. Just remind me in 10 minutes. Hopefully we'll have time for that. Okay, I'm just going to at the times that the signals comes too late when the key levels have been reached. Okay, question from Justina, can be something done about that? Well, unfortunately no, Justina. Thank you for the excellent question. I'm just going to tell you that at the end of the day, the analysis is still on our shoulders. Even if I'm using a signal, there is no way I'm just going to launch it without doing at least like just to look at the things and to make sure that they are making sense, I can also use it as guidelines. I don't have to, it's not obligatory I'm going to launch it like this. I can do my own adjustments, but it saves you the trouble. It saves you the time if it's good. Okay, I hope it helps. Thank you for the question. Okay, oh, before we carry on with Easters, there are just two more things because this is technical analysis based, okay? And I also want to show you two things that can assist you with fundamental analysis. Now, in a nutshell, technical analysis is what is in the charts. Therefore, levels, support and resistance, statistics, averages, certain numbers accumulation, okay, accelerators, and so on. And you have fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis, there is a question, can I get a screen recording for this class to review the class? Absolutely, Muzaffar. Of course, as I said in the beginning, all you have to do is just go to YouTube, to our channel, and yeah, it should be there. I don't know how to download videos from YouTube, but I guess that's possible. We're 2024, so I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so as I said, this is technical analysis based, but we're not relying only on that. We have another question. Is copy training available in? Yes, Mr. Ado, right? Mr. Ado Osman. Thank you for the question. As I said, sir, this is how you do it, right? AvaSocial, you can follow somebody else, right? This is copy trading. You're gonna copy your trader. And we have third-party solutions like DupliTrade as an example. They also a strategy providers that allows you to do that. Why can't I open AvaTrade page in Safari? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question, but I'm deeply afraid that this is beyond my technical understanding, Mr. Ilas, right? I hope that I'm pronouncing your name right, but I'm just, maybe send it to your senior account manager. Maybe he can solve it for you. Maybe it's something in the settings. I'm just not fully aware. I need to know the particular case. Yeah, thank you for the question. So as I said, very, very nicely, we're just going to hit the news button. As you can see, it's right here. It's fifth from the top, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, maybe sixth or fifth. Yeah, and that's what it's showing us. Here I can refresh the page. What it's showing us here is we have different categories. We're just going to hit the Forex. We're going to see that there are four Forex articles. This one in particular is US against Japanese yen. Okay, and the euro versus dollar, apparently. Here we can see some news about the Nikkei, and then here the related instruments. If it's something else like stocks, it's, well, it has an impact on S&P. In here, I just want to show you something that has several impacts. Oh, there we go. See, certain impact. And underneath, we can have the economic calendar that helps us identify certain currencies that can be handy for us to trade with. Okay, we're getting very close to the NFP. Let's see if it will capture it as well. Why is it not capturing it? Oh, because I'm searching something, and it should be fine now. Yeah. Maybe I can just show it to you in particular on Friday, but I wanted to show you how do I, there we go. You see that it just doesn't let me do it. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. I think we've made it. So you see the first Friday of the month, we're gonna see, oh, we see all kind of things right now, and I want to focus on the NFP. So what I'm gonna do, as you can see, you have here flags of countries. So I'm just gonna focus here on the US. and that's going to show me that on that first Friday of the month, which is actually 1st of March, there should be here, let's find it. Well, it should be here. Maybe it's here. There we go. Yeah, usually the first Friday of the month, but as you can see, there are exceptions. Right here, the non-farming payroll. It's one of the biggest news impacts that we have beside the interest rate, and this is why the importance is high. We can see here eventually that. Oh, okay, just before I carry on with my explanation, I just want to explain to you how it's built. But okay. Maybe I should have kept it with the previous reports. This is how we could potentially know. It's not showing you the entire thing. That's the problem. Maybe now. Yeah, I wanted to show you how to analyze it because on the future, obviously on the future one, we still don't have the forecast and the actual, which is fine. We still have time for that. Now, how is this made? This is the last result. This is what we expect to happen, and this will only be after the occurrences will take place. And this is how big the occurrences are. So, in other words, there are a few ways to filter here. If you don't want to be bothered by small events that doesn't have a lot of impact, okay, so you can just hit the high button. If you do want to review the others, you're just going to keep it as it is, and we're going to see low, high. Let's find, are there any medium? Let's get rid of that for the time being. Okay, and we have all kind of things, medium, low. Okay, you can follow in particular only the high if you want. Here you can see when the holidays are. You don't have to focus only on the USD. You have other countries here and so on and so on. Do we have any questions about the and also if you click it, it's going to show you what it means, right? It's going to show you here with a nice explanation, and you can get the chart and the impact and the volatility and so on and so on. Do we have any questions about that? Because I just want to begin with the second part for who asked me that about support and resistance? Kim, right? Kim, you asked about support and resistance. If I can explain, and I will. And in the beginning, who asked me if we can, okay. Right, so again, I'm gonna hit here, AvaTrade trade with confidence to go to the default page. And now we can begin with the second part. Let's get ourselves a nice asset to work with. And I guess that's how Platinum is doing, you remembered. Okay. Yeah, well, okay, let's stay with it. Let's stay with it for the time being. Guys, I'm going to give you a nice guide through about what's happening here at the top so we can be on the same page. As you can see here, this where I wrote Platinum, I think it was like this, I'm not sure, right? I think it was like this. So in the beginning, it will look like that. How can I search my own asset? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click here on the symbol, I'm going to erase it, put Platinum in. Okay, then I'm going to click on Platinum, and it will appear. Now, if I go to the right, I click here on the time frames. If I scroll down, I can do it in two ways. I have a thin toggle here, which I can click and drag with the time frames. If I scroll down, we have here hours, days, weeks, and months. Okay. If I carry on, here I can change from candles to bars or a line. If I carry on right, we have the crosshair. Okay, now nothing will be presented when I'm clicking or pointing on the chart. But if I change to the crosshair, it will be followed by horizontal and vertical line, which is a cross, and I can get info from the candles. If I change it and I still don't have the info, it's maybe because the squarey thing is folded. You see, I'm pointing, nothing happens. That's because the squarey thing here is folded, and I can open it if I want to. Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay, Right. If I keep going to the right, we have here the layout. I can change from one layout to two, just to split it this way, or I can even change it to this way, and then it will be presented differently. Yeah, it's a nice thing to have if you want to analyze two things simultaneously. In here, we have the FX indicators. If I want to add one, I'm just going to click and drag, and then I can click Save to keep it on the chart. Okay, if I keep going another step to the right, here we have arrows. We have here all kind of timelines. If I want to remember certain dates, we also have certain horizontal line or maybe price line, you could call it whatever you want, to define support and resistance, or to mark a certain price on the chart. Okay, there are many things here. There are many useful things. Okay, but never mind. We're not gonna go with this too far. Okay, we don't want to. We don't want the chart to be too colorful. Okay. Yeah, keep going to the right. We have sell and buy. As I said, it's opening here a nice sidebar. This sidebar is divided to two parts. Here, I have the information, the backend information about the asset. I can see the buyers and the sellers. I can see the spread and the buy difference, the ask and the bid difference, the spread. I can also see here the leverage, my multiplier, which is multiplying my buying and selling ability. Here I have the margin percentage and all kind of things. Going to the order. Okay, right now we're going to try and specify a position that will make sense to us. We're going to get rid of all of that. Platinum. Okay. Platinum, we're going to go with TTMU. We're going to go with target. Right, we're going to go with goal. We're going to go with time. Right, so we said TTMU, and will be my movements. Okay, maybe I should put it this way. Somehow it makes more sense. And lastly, U stands for units. Okay, now, first thing that I'm going to do, okay, even if, let's suppose that platinum to me seems like it's heading down. Let's suppose that this is a bearish candle, right? We have here a bullish candle. And to be honest, it doesn't seem to me like a solid trend that I can rely on, right? Let's suppose that I think that this is a sell and I got lucky and I sold, no problem. That goes down a bit and I'm making profits. I can never know when to close the position unless I have at least a number in mind. Therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put at least a number that I'm aiming for. Let's suppose that in this case, we're going to go with 700. You know what? Let's go ambitious. Let's go ambitious. $2,000. And we're planning to make it in, let's see, 2 weeks. Okay. And my third, it seems like it's a bit confusing, isn't it? I think we're going to change just that, right? I think this way it's a little easier to. Okay, and now we should discover the movement. How can we possibly know what's the approximate movement for oil per week? So we can do one of two things. We can either measure the lengths of the previous candle and simply subtract, right? Subtract the differences. Then we can say, listen, yesterday, just a second, we're analyzing days. Oh, let's switch to weeks. There we go. You know, it looks a bit different. Okay, so why am I marking 4 lines and not 2? Right, so what's happening in between? Right, so this day is divided to two segments. We have from bottom to top, we have what we have in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to put its date, right? Let's mark its date. Okay, guys, I may be doing it swiftly, but that's because I want to teach you analysis as well. Okay, so Later on, you can see the recorded version. And of course, if something is not fully understood, stop me and say, Danny, you're too fast. Okay, otherwise I'm running. So the last week was the beginning of the 12th, right? And we're gonna just put down the numbers, open, close, high, and low. Okay, next to it, we're gonna put the numbers that we see. Okay, again, it's not mandatory or even recommended to, maybe recommended is recommended to know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna show you here a way how to do it with an indicator anyway. Just gonna put the close, 912.4, high is 916, okay. Right, okay, and we have the differences. Okay, and we're gonna do 881 minus 912, that's $31 in between. And we have the 916.4 minus 873.7, which is 42. Now, there are several problems with doing this. First of all, 1 week is not an example of anything, right? Because it could be exceptional. As we can see, there are weeks here. It doesn't signify in any way the other weeks. They're not average at all. They're sizable candles, right? And this is why I can't rely on a single candle and I have to analyze a few. Now, I'm not going to do this with few candles. A, because we don't have time for that, and B, because we have an indicator. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on indicators, and simply we're going to put AVE for average to rule range. One of the accelerators, just going to click, put it down here, and we're going to just make sure the length is 14 candles. This is how many candles it goes back and analyzes. It's on Wielder, which is fine. And we have the ATR, which is 1px. Let's paint it yellow for the time being. And now it's showing me, okay, Danny, every candle in the past 14 candles has been accumulated to the ATR. And the outcome, the result, the average of platinum to move per week is $47,861. So, for instance, if I'm aiming for a, let's say, sell, okay, and I'm aiming for here, which is approximately $50 down, right? $50 down. Is it in my range or not? Let me show you where is 47 is where, just a second. Oh, what happened? That is approximately where? Okay, so my white line is my actual ATR. Let's paint it yellow, that would make more sense. Okay, so this is where my ATR is telling me that it can potentially go to if it goes exactly like the average described. And I'm asking you, if I'm aiming for 850, is it in my range from where it's at right now or not? What do you think? Is it in the range or not? In other words, what I'm asking you guys is, obviously this number is bigger than that number. So that means that from here to here, it's more than the average. Do we understand that? That means that this is my range. I'm not saying that it cannot get there, but I'm saying that this is beyond the average. This is more than the average. That means that it needs to be an exceptional movement to go beyond, to go lower than 856, which is most definitely possible. Okay? Now, if I'm aiming for this number, I understand it's more than my range. I can go cautious and say, listen, I don't think that 850 is where platinum can get to. It's maybe the range, but I'm not relying on the range. Okay, I'm not relying on the range, and this is why I'm gonna go conservative, and instead of $50-something down, I'm only gonna go for, let's say, 40. Okay, let's say 40. 40. Is it in my range or not? Let's see. That is most definitely in my range. Can we all see that though? Can we all see that? Guys, we have basic understanding of what's happening here, or are there any questions? Now it's the time, guys, before I carry on. Then I'm adding another thing. Okay, can we adjust? Yeah, of course, Shalifa. It's an excellent question. To adjust the ATR, all you have to do is just to click here and then click here, and you can change it to how many candles you want. You can change the color, you can change here, you can change if it's measuring the whole length or just some of the length. This is how many candles it's taking. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so why do I want to measure if it's in my range or not? Because I don't want end up aiming for a price that is way too far. And then if it's way too far, so what's the point? Maybe it will turn around before. Now again, I took 2 weeks. I took 2 weeks as my destined time length, and I'm measuring weekly a movement. Now people can say, hey, Danny, if 50 is the average, maybe 100 is what's going to move in 2 weeks. Maybe it's a good assumption, but I want to go cautious. Let's suppose I decide to go with 40 and not with 100, okay? Because 100 needs to be to the same direction, which is again not guaranteed. So how many units? Let's put down here an equation. Summary or target. Oh, shouldn't put it this way. Divided by, but then it looks like a minus. Let's put it this way. Target divided by movement equals units. Therefore, 2000 divided by 40. How many units do I need, guys? Let's see if we have any geniuses in the audience. How many units do I need, guys? Let me fix the numbers in the meantime. Then I'm reviewing your answers. Come on, guys, one correct answer. How many units do I need to sell to make 2000 with 40 per unit? This is a simple equation. Alex, you have the right answer. Perfect. Who else knows this? Shaquille, very well. Sergio, nice. People waking up. Very good. So guys, this is very simple, right? Okay, let's change the numbers and then we'll see. Take profit, since we are selling, needs to be 846.1. And then we're gonna put here the stop loss. We still don't know. Let's keep it this way. And we're gonna change. Whoever answered 50 is obviously right. Let's put it to the test. And let's also do it by ourselves so the audience can enjoy the formula as well. So we said 2000 divided by 40. Again, because for every dollar we're getting 50, we can get to 2000 by doing that. And that's perfectly fine. Yeah, everything here seems well composed. Let's also make sure that we have the budget for that, right? And how can we know that we have the budget? So we're going to write down two things. We're going to write down something called price per unit. We have amount of units, okay? Right. Now, price per unit is 904.2. The amount that we acquire is 50. Therefore, the value is 45,205. How did I know that? Because it says here clearly value, right? Value 45,205. Now, the value divided by leverage equals margin impact. In other words, this number, let me put the leverage here, equals, the leverage is 1 to 10, perfect. Therefore, 45,205 divided by 10 is, okay, but Danny, hold on. Why did you divide and how did you divide and what exactly is happening here? Well, I'm just going to tell you that the leverage is multiplies buying and selling power. In other words, because I multiplied times 10, I can actually, with the same logic, divide my value by 10, right? And this is my margin impact, which is also known as necessary amount to open the position, right? This is how much I actually need. I need 10% out of the value, which is written exactly here. Margin 10%. Oh, don't tell me it. No, never mind. Just wiped out our specifications, but that's fine. We're just going to redefine it. There we go. And there we go. Perfect. Now, how are we? So we have to take profit, perfect. What about the stop loss? How do we determine the stop loss? Anybody knows? They agree with me that this is quite an important question, right? There's no guarantee to what's going to happen here. So without placing a stop loss, I will know that the potential loss can be very big, and then I can't really control my risk. With stop loss, I know how much I can lose, and I know accordingly where I'm going to place it. So if my take profit is 864 and it can fruit a profit of 2,000, okay, that means that $40 up will be 944. However, this is a ratio of 1 to 1, risk reward, 2,000 loss of 2,000. Problem is 2,000, my balance of 10,000 minus 2,000, that means that this is 2% exposure. Oh, sorry, 20. I wish it was it would have been 2. It's not 2, it's 20%. I'm asking you right here, is 20% an acceptable exposure? What do you think, guys? Is that something you would recommend your friend to go with? 20% on a position? How many positions can I go wrong until my account goes bye-bye? How many? Just a second, guys. I'm sorry. Exactly. So 5 positions and game over. This is why, for instance, if I want to adjust my position in a way that the ratio is 1 to 4 and so on, and I wish to decrease my potential loss to, let's say, 5%, okay, instead of 20. So what I'm going to do is simply, I have 2 things that I can do. I can either adjust the lot size, and then my profit will go down as well. Therefore, if I'm going to change this to 25 as an example, so I'm going to have 1,000 instead of, oh, let me also adjust quickly the there we go. This needs to be norm 1, okay, or 2. Okay, so you can see I can lose and gain almost the same amount. The problem is I don't like that. So to change it, if I'm changing it downwards to, let's say, 10, because I want to be with 4% or 5%, let's say 15, right? So I can lose a little more than 5%, 5.7 or so. But it will have an impact on my profit. So what can I do otherwise to maintain my potential profit and still lower my potential loss? Who knows the answer for that? gonna give you guys roughly 10 seconds to answer, and then I will show you the answer. Let me put down the question here, okay? How can I adjust my 20% exposure to 5%? And I don't want to touch my lot size because I understand if I lower my lot size, it will have an impact on my profit, and I kind of like the idea of making $2,000. So what can I still do to adjust it? Anybody? Very well, Michael. Very, very well. It's an excellent answer. Anybody else? 3 seconds. Yes. So as Michael mentioned, I can just adjust my stop loss. Now we're not gonna discuss if it's good or not, where I'm gonna place it. Okay, but I can just show you that instead of 944, I'll go with 914 as an example, which is roughly here, which is roughly, let's say 9. This is not something I would necessarily go with, but for the sake of the exercise, I don't mind. So let's make it here, okay? If it flinches up by $10, $11, my potential loss is 465, which is very close to 5%. Let's make it, let's make it, okay. Now, as we can see, the potential loss became 500, and the potential gain stays 2,000. Now, I'm gonna be frank with you guys. This is not necessarily a position I would go 100% with the settings that I've placed. Perhaps I would go with execute when price hits, and I would wait for something to occur and only then take advantage. Okay, but in case, let's say with the basic information that we have without prior analysis and without anything, this position as it is makes sense to the goals that we have described, and we have the budget to take this position. Again, I'm not going to tell you if it's good or not. We understand that by using almost 50% of my margin, I'm not going to be able to take more than 2 positions like that. Okay? This is also something we're not going to get. Again, it's not what this webinar is supposed to do. So you can also participate other webinars, but this is a very nice way to construct a position and know exactly where you're standing. Okay, in a later stage, you can evolve and you can start analyzing support and resistance. You can also add other indicators if you want to understand the tendency on the future fluctuations, and that can be very, very useful. Now, because Kim, you asked about support and resistance, and unfortunately I didn't have a lot of time to explain, I will explain to you now just the logic behind it. So let's suppose again that in the beginning I was aiming for $40, and that's fine. And I'm gonna see here when's the best place for me to grasp this $40. Now, from here to here, it's optional, right? It's optional. However, if I'm looking at those 2 thin lines coming out of the candles, okay, I see that it was. What do you think that this is a result of, guys? Why it couldn't break any lower than that? Okay, so I usually don't do analysis in my webinar, not in this webinar, but today I'm just I feel like giving it to you. So what is this, guys? What are those 2 lines? Why it didn't proceed down? I think this could have been a nice bearish trend, right? This first week, second week, then suddenly it went up, and it didn't just go up, it went up with those 2 nice lines. So what are those lines describing us, guys? Put a line on it. Rejection, okay. What kind of rejection, Rashid? If I can ask. What got rejected? How it got rejected? Couldn't make it to the support. Okay, let's assume that it couldn't make it to the support. Let's look at it together. We see that this is maybe the support line, so it couldn't make it to the support. Okay, I accept what you're saying. However, how is this any help though? Okay, because I can assume if it goes down to this level, I have a reason to believe that this level might potentially be rejected again. Okay, it got rejected several times. So if I'm planning to grasp $40, I don't necessarily want to do it from here. Maybe I want to do it from a lower price. Then say, okay, if it goes down to that level, just a second, of course I have to include a nice recognition about the fundamentals, okay? But if it goes along, I could say, listen, this is a nice pre-support line. We have a question here from Junior. I live in the US. I have a problem. Can I use the same signals for Forex? That, Junior, is a question that you, my dear, will have to ask your senior account manager. I just don't know. I don't know. I know that we don't have license in the US, and therefore it might be problematic for you. But beside that, any changes on the signals, I don't know. So yeah. As I was explaining, how is this any help? So I can grasp, like I said, the $40 that I want. I can do it from here, no problem. But maybe I choose to go with a buy and I'm waiting for a reversal. So the support and resistance can be handy, and it can also see a clearer picture in regards to your entry. Okay, every time frame has different support and resistance, even hours or minutes. So that will depend on your ambitions, and that will depend on what you're planning to make, during what time you're planning to make, and what kind of movement you're expecting for. Whether if it's several pips, 10 pips, 100 pips, or if you're with platinum and you're speaking in dollars, so that means $1 up, $1 down, $40 up, $40 down, and support and resistance can help you define the best place to buy or to sell, to enter a position and grasp the likes that you're looking for. Unfortunately, guys, for today, we have to say goodbye. I hope that everybody enjoyed the webinar, and tomorrow we're going to have a nice live Q&A. You're all more than welcome. But by then, I wish you all fruitful week, full of profits. Best of luck with trading, and have a good day.